Hello everyone, long time no see. How you guys doing over there?
Yeah, how's it going out there in YouTube land? Is it? Oh, it looks like things are going well over there. Things are going well here too.
Welcome back to my channel again. In today's video, we want to talk about that. Sometimes when people they go travel or they are retire from their home country to other country, I'm curious about that. What kind of food they eat?
Yeah, we all know where we grew up, right? We know what the restaurant choices are, the different kinds of food. We probably hear about restaurants open up in our neighborhood or across town we want to see. And so we always have a pulse on that or what we're going to cook at home. But what the heck do you eat when you go to another country and they don't eat your kind of food there? What happens then?
True. So in this video, we want to share about that our diet when we travel. I've been travel with Dan for 8 years now. And then been travel to 73 countries over the
18 years now outside of the U.S.
What kind of food do you eat?
Depends where I am, and I often don't know until I get there.
I will share some of the country food that, example in Peru. What kind of food of Peruvian they eat? I'm very surprised they eat rice. They have rice and they have ceviche. I eat a lot of rice dishes in the Peru, especially in the, I can't remember the town, Lima. They have rice dishes and few of the vegetables dishes like potato, all these things, and it's very delicious.
Yeah, they're famous for their ceviche, like you said. They had a Japanese population there that brought fresh fish over, and actually Peru is one of the nations in the world that has more. Who are the people that review restaurants? The most famous restaurant company? Michelin.
Yes,
they have more Michelin stars per capita. Peruvian restaurants do all over the world per capita of the nation than any of the other nations.
Yeah, talk about that. And reading me some Peruvian ceviche. I eat a lot of different kind of countries ceviche, but still Peruvian ceviche is the best that what I have.
Yeah, that's brilliant food there. Another example, Mexico. Mexico you're probably more familiar with because you're in the U.S., one country away. Great Mexican restaurants all over the U.S. Typical things for me is, in the morning I'll have like eggs with salsa and tortillas and maybe some potatoes or something. And then tacos for lunch or dinner, and then we cook at home also while we're in Mexico. And it's fun. Each part of Mexico, like other parts of the world, has different kinds of foods for that state in Mexico, whether it's in the north or south. And it's often based on the original people that lived in that part of Mexico. And it's derivatives of that the Spanish created over the time. And you always have the original people in many of these parts of the world that are still eating their traditional dishes from 300-500 years ago.
Yeah, and so the next example that when we travel in Macedonia, what kind of food Macedonia eats? Their food is quite similar with the Albania, surrounding the country. They also eating mostly is a barbecue meat with a bread, Yeah, I eat all the time. It's like that, and also like kebab, Yeah, so those kind of food.
Yeah, and there's some Middle Eastern influences there too. You'll find in the dishes, and Eastern Europe is kind of cool. Another spot that I've eaten a lot of food is Thailand. Of course, you're probably familiar with Thailand food too. That's all over the U.S. now, but it's mainly some curries and rices, more spicy, tofus and chickens and fish or whatever. And Thai food personally is probably one of my top 3 types of food in the world. It's so delicious.
It's famous with a curry.
Yeah, and it's well documented because there's so many expats that live in Thailand. They'll always find what you want to eat, and they're also sensitive to heat there. When they see that you're a lighter colored skin from a foreign country or that you're from whatever, the West somewhere, they often will refuse politely to give you the hot stuff, and you have to beg for it. 2 or 3 visits to a restaurant before you can get the hot stuff, assuming you can take it.
So mostly we go to the very local restaurant. They don't speak much English because the food they cook is mostly is for the local, so they can take the spice. We no need to ask for any spice. They will just, it's already there. And it's
often, to me at least, it's better tasting food because it's prepared by locals for locals instead of calmed down for the tourists. And it's also often 1/3 the price. So that's the beauty of going local.
And the next country is Vietnam. So a lot of people are so curious. Vietnam, what they eat, In Vietnam, we eat a lot of the noodle soup. I love noodle soup. And we eat also a lot of the rice dish with the mixed vegetable. And because they are the Buddhism countries, so they have a lot of vegetarian dish for them as well. And I love spring roll. They have, the noodle soup is not a normal, just clear noodle soup. They have like what they call peanut sauce noodle soup, sesame sauce noodle soup. That is very, very delicious. And a lot of meat, soup, and chicken and seafood also in Vietnam, but my diet in Vietnam is mostly a soup base, a noodle soup base.
The pho, I think they call it.
They call pho.
And the beautiful thing about the Vietnamese pho dishes is they bring this. When you sit down, they bring you your soup, which is full of vegetables and noodles and absolutely delicious. And they bring you a bunch of different spices you can throw in there if you like the heat. But also there's a big pile of greens that's right in the middle of the table. And you just start picking from that and dropping it into your pho and mixing it all up. Oh, it's just like you're getting, cooked food, raw food, and it's just so nice. It goes down so easily.
That's why we not really cook in Vietnam.
No, we cooked like 1 meal in a month when we were in Da Nang. And we'll be going back there soon, hopefully. And the price is ridiculous. I mean, if you go to the expat restaurants and you want to get a steak or whatever, it could be $8, $10, $12, which in the U.S. is a bargain, of course. But if you're eating the local food, which to me tastes better, honestly, than the Western food, they know how to do their food. You want to eat Western food, do it in the West. You go to Asia, eat the Asian food. But that Vietnamese food, you might only spend 50 cents or $1 for a meal. And it's not unusual. That's not like one place. So.
True. But I also eat steak in other country, example in Albania. What Albania eats, Daniel? Can you tell me?
Well, some of my favorite things that come to mind is my mom, when I was a kid, she used to stuff peppers. So it would have rice in there and, part of like bell peppers and onion and garlic and delicious. And so we found those in Albania, stuffed peppers. They also have a bunch of different kinds of bean soups that are delicious.
And also like the cheese dishes
the cheeses. And
So Albania is a very nice place for both of us because I eat meat, and Albania, they have a lot of like steakhouse. I have that. And also they have a lot of vegetarian choices for them in a local restaurant. And it wasn't work to find it. They, in general, they'll have whatever it is, pork or steak or chicken. But the dishes surrounding it are often just vegetables. So it's great. And then, of course, in Albania, it has that Eastern influence, so you can get falafel and other dishes you're familiar with in the Mediterranean. Also, you forget spaghetti.
Of course. Albania has some of the best Italian food I've eaten anywhere in the world.
I have to say, in Albania capital.
Tirana. I would say the food, for example, in Saranda, it's a famous beach area with.
It's
some
mostly
people call
seafood.
it. What do they call it?
Maldives.
The Maldives of Eastern Europe or whatever.
Yes.
I don't know if I'd go that far. Although I've never been to Maldives. Maybe it does look like Maldives, but it certainly is beautiful water. It has that turquoise water.
Part of the Maldives, not the whole thing. So there's a country example that we can share with you when we travel.
So they had acceptable Italian food in Saranda also. But I'm not sure I've ever had better Italian food than I had in Tirana.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
Tirana have better choices.
It's incredible.
So those are the food that we say that when we eat in the restaurants while we are visiting the country, you know. And also one thing why we have our diet, you know, like we will specific to some oil or anything, because that we do our body checkup every year, almost yearly, you know.
Yeah, every year for sure.
Yeah, just a blood test that's like 71 tests, including the cancer marker, is about 300 ringgit.
Blood sugar, cholesterol, liver function, kidney function. Boy, you name it, 70 tests.
70 tests, and also you can get in like 3 days. So most of the time we do it in Malaysia. Yeah, and that's why we will control about our cholesterol, our blood sugar. That is how we control our food.
What we eat at home?
Yeah.
𝐁𝐎 has a bit of a sweet tooth, so sometimes when we're out, she'll want to stop in a coffee shop.
Yeah, I love cake, but I'm trying to cut down the cake as well. I love cake a lot.
So we're not allergic to sweets, but in general, we don't try to have it be a regular part of our diet.
Yeah, like me, the first thing is I will not put sugar on my tea and my coffee. I like just pure coffee, black coffee, or the coffee with milk. Yeah.
And I used to put stevia. I don't. It's been probably 3 decades since I put. Maybe 4, since I was putting sugar in my coffee or anything, frankly. Sugar's not good for you. It's not good for your health. And so I was eating these sugar substitutes, but it seems like it was just maybe 6 months ago I gave those up. Now I'm just drinking coffee with like unsweetened soy in it. So
yeah, I was surprised because there is someone who have to have a stevia in the coffee. He need sugar for that, you know. Flavor,
not the flavor sugar. I've never put sugar in anything.
Yeah, a stevia flavor inside. So I was surprised when he took out that stevia out of the coffee, you know.
And it's mainly coffee for me is about, you know, energy or keeping me awake whenever I'm up to. And I really love it. You know, I'm a big coffee fan. I carry coffee with us everywhere we go. But it just got to be a hassle carrying around all these artificial sweeteners, and it's different in every town. And you're trying to figure out where to buy it and which one's better for you of the choices you have. And then so I thought I'm going to give up this stuff, and I tried it for really a month or 2, and then I said, you know what, I don't need this stuff. So once in a while I'll put some sweetener in there, like if I'm at a Starbucks and there's stevia right there or whatever, but I don't really drink Starbucks that often. Maybe twice a year. I like the coffee. You make it at home, and we carry stuff with us so we can make coffee in the home, and then you're spending 20 cents on a cup instead of $2 or $3.
Yeah, that's true. And so when we at home, we also eat mostly like you know, more vegetable stuff.
Oh sure, yeah.
Yeah. So and also I don't cook meat inside the house because that most of the time if we are at home, Dan is the one who cook. So Dan will not cook meat, right? So I'm the lazy person. So I cook whatever Dan cook. I eat whatever Dan cook. And it's, you know, it's very hassle for me to cook chicken, fish, or whatsoever inside the house. And I cannot take the smell of the fish and the meat, the odor around the house.
Odor,
I cannot take that.
Right.
But I still eat, but I only eat outside the house.
Yeah, so I pretty much, we cook more at home when we're in places where restaurant food is expensive. It helps us maintain our budget. If we're somewhere like right now, we're in Bangkok, and the dishes, we should show them those dishes. What do you think?
Oh, sure. So this is the thing that we just bought from our...
Yeah, so to give you an idea, like this will be our lunch today. There's 2 different kinds. That'll be for dinner then. So here's two things you put on top of brown rice. Brown rice has a lower glycemic index than white, and white, you know, rice doesn't come white. You have to bleach it. That can't be too healthy. So we always eat brown rice. We make it at home, but at this restaurant, it's a vegetarian restaurant, no MSG, brown rice. So this costs 10 ringgit or 10.
10 baht.
10 baht, yeah, which is like 30 cents, and it's enough rice for both of us for lunch. And then we split this dish half each. And these are 40 baht.
40. So total for us is 90 baht for 2 persons.
Which is just under $3.
Yep.
So for less than $1.50 each for lunch, this is what we get. And so it's hard to justify cooking when you just walk a couple blocks, buy that in a store doesn't have MSG, it's got brown rice.
Yeah.
So it's healthy, and $3, you're done. No cleaning. Just throw the stuff in the garbage, wash the plates, and you're done.
Yeah, but if we are inside, we stay in the Thailand, Bangkok for a month or 2 months, and I will buy like bread, like brown rice, which have black color rice and red color rice, so we can able to try the different kind of rice.
Yeah. And those sorts of rice, they're something more substantial feeling when you eat them.
Yeah.
And everywhere you go in Asia, they have these rice cookers. So you just throw the rice in there, throw some water, flip the thing on, and a little oil too, maybe?
No.
And boom, whatever, 30 minutes later, you have your rice. And so then you just buy assuming it's a restaurant that doesn't have the brown rice, you cook the rice yourself, buy the dishes, whatever they are, $1 or $2, and boom. It's very little money, and it's just the local food. If you can learn how to order and eat it, it's just so delicious compared to a restaurant trying to do what you want in your home country that is never going to meet your standards. It's better to learn about new stuff.
True. And also that we are sharing our diets, but for yourself, you need to go to look for your doctor to getting advice or anything because...
About diet?
Yeah. It's different people have different diets.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And so for the oils, when we cook inside the house, we also cook some vegetable and also a pasta, we use olive oil. This stands asking they need to have olive oil.
Yeah, olive oil cooked at reasonably low temperatures, not boiling. Is much healthier for you than the grain oils that are out there. And then finally, one of the things we eat, just because I grew up with it in my house, we create these crazy salads. We start with some 2 or 3 different kinds of leafy greens, not just iceberg, but romaine and a couple other ones. What's the one you were like, rocket?
Rocket, yes.
Yeah, rocket and one other one. I forget what it's called, but
we'll
start with that, and then we'll add in garlic, onions, rather red onions and garlic, minced up, and we put in cranberry, chickpeas, tomato, cucumber, carrot,
black olive, green olive, bell pepper,
sunflower seeds, walnut, red bean.
Red bean is only for him.
Olive oil, apple cider vinegar, and sometimes balsamic. It's the American apple cider vinegar, that one that's 5% acidity that comes with the mother. It's just so good.
Yeah, that's the best.
It bites you back when you eat a salad like that. It's so healthy. There's no carbo in that salad, and so it's mind-blowing. And then we also, I like to cook what I call it's really a tomato sauce that I use for both pasta and for whole meal pasta, or whole grain as they call it in the U.S., or on our omelets, which are only white, no egg yolk.
And we use the tomato sauce. We also look for no sugar.
No sugar tomato sauce.
Yes.
And then tomatoes, red chili, garlic, onion, black or green olives. And then I'll put chili peppers, flakes in it, maybe some black pepper, spice it up really good.
Yeah.
And then for the omelets, we might throw cheese on there, and then throw that sauce on
we
the
also
top.
Only cook egg white omelet. We don't eat yolk omelet.
Yeah.
So those food are our usually food that when we eat inside the house.
Yeah, that's our main. We do a bunch of other stuff, but that's the main 3 things we do.
Yeah.
So that's our food story.
Yeah, food. And we also eat some fruit, which is like mango, guava. Whatever food in that country is a fresh local, produce.
And local's the thing. I mean, if you're buying grapes in Southeast Asia, there's a good chance they're being flown in from somewhere in the world. But if you eat the local stuff, it's often closer to you grown, picked when it's ripe instead of 3 weeks before it's ripe or whatever, because it has to move on a boat somewhere.
Yeah, like banana, pineapple, those kind of food is Southeast Asia made.
And we probably eat that maybe like 2-3 times a week. We'll have it's not like a mainstay of our daily thing, but
but when we in Europe, we eat Europe produced food. We will not eat Southeast Asia mango.
Yeah.
In Europe, it's like a lot of money.
Yeah, and you can't really recreate flavors in one part of the world where all the ingredients are from another part of the world.
Yeah.
If you get that into your head and you learn about the world instead of trying to make this world like that other world, you're going to save money, you're going to get better quality. So it's a smarter way to move.
So this is our video about our food and our diet. If you're curious about that, I have made a video about our basic cost of living per month is less than $1,000 for 2 people. And it's listing about 5 countries. If you're curious about that, you can check out the video around here.
It's probably right there.
Very light here. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.